This is the Iowa Weather Report for Monday, March the 4th, 2013. Now our first look at the 0Z GFS Model Run. This is at noon today. We have a storm system off the northeast coast, but the one we're watching is the disturbance moving through the Plain States and the Dakotas, but we already are seeing some interesting weather of some wintry mix during the early morning hours, and that's going to continue into the daytime hours with some snow across the north, a wintry mix, or some rain even in the south, with highs today varied in the 30s to near 40 across the Iowa-Missouri border. But Tuesday, it'll be all snow as the upper level system moves overhead. The surface low will be over about Louisville, Kentucky, so the heaviest snow band looks to be across northeastern Iowa at this point. When we take a look at the probabilities, this is through Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. This shows the probabilities of seeing at least 2 inches of snow or more, and that looks fairly likely across the northern and eastern counties of the state, lesser toward the south and west. This is the probability of seeing 4 inches of snow or more. Still looks fairly good from about Algona to Marshalltown to about Davenport and north and eastward for that amount of snow. When we bump it up to 8 inches of snow or more, the probabilities are at least 50-50 north and east of a line from about Algona to maybe Grundy Center to Clinton north and eastward, with better chances up in Minnesota. And when we go to probabilities of a foot of snow or more, the probabilities are about 10 to maybe 25%, better chances across Allamakee, Winneshiek, and northern Clayton and Fayette counties, better chances even better in North Dakota. But when we're looking at models, this is the NAM run. This is for the next 48 hours, the same time frame as the probabilities, and it shows all the heavy snow in Wisconsin. The NAM has been too far to the north and east over all the runs. This is looking at the 10-to-1 ratio, and this shows the heaviest snow over Minnesota, Wisconsin, and northern Illinois, with lighter amounts to the south and west. Don't think it's this light, however. But when we compare that with the GFS run, here, this is using a different algorithm. It shows the heaviest snow band across North Dakota, especially Minnesota into northeastern, about third of Iowa into Illinois, and southwestern Wisconsin as well. And when we use the 10-to-1 ratio, the amounts do drop off, but the dark blue areas in the eastern part of the state is 8 to 10 inches, but the amounts will taper off very significantly as we move to the south and west, mainly due to warm air advection and some rain and freezing rain. Back to the GFS model run, that storm is now well off to our east here on Wednesday. Could bring some decent amounts of snow across Washington, D.C., Baltimore up to Philadelphia with the low pressure center near the Delmarva Peninsula. We move to Thursday. The low is now off the Atlantic coast. Around here, though, we're starting to warm back up. Temperatures back nearing 40, if this is right. Maybe 30s in the snow-covered areas with southerly winds. And that'll be ahead of the next storm system that'll be gathering strength over the Four Corners region with some snow, rain in the valley areas, but temperatures around here still 30s in areas of heavy snow cover, low to maybe mid-40s elsewhere. And then Saturday, here's the next storm. It moves in, low pressure west of Wichita, and with the 540 line well to our north, this looks to be all in the form of some rain. Maybe a wintry mix in some areas, especially Saturday night. And by Sunday, the cold air rushes back in, so any precipitation will end as snow, maybe a light dusting or an inch or so with the low near Detroit or Lansing at this point. And a week from today, we have a pretty quick flow. We have another upper level system over northern Mexico. Otherwise, the northern jet stream fairly fast moving across the northern tier of the country. And with that, we could see maybe a little bit of snow activity just to our north over Minnesota and Wisconsin, some rain showers and maybe a thunderstorm over Texas, and some snow over New England and also over the northern Rockies and the Northwest. Moving out into Voodoo, the 15th, we have a trough over the west and a ridge over the east, and a southwesterly flow aloft, and that usually means active weather around here, and in this case it does mean active weather, and If this was right, we could be seeing some very active weather. Rain, snow, wintry mix, maybe rumbles of thunder, but this could change on the very next run, so we'll have to wait and see. And at the end of the forecast on March the 19th, upper level feature over the Canadian Maritimes. Otherwise around here, a flat ridge here, bit of a trough over the north and west, but a very fast flow at any rate, and that'll bring some storm systems in and out of here fairly quickly. Temperatures look to be near average for mid to late March, highs in the 30s into the 40s, with maybe a little bit of rain or maybe some snow as well. The satellite image from last evening, the new storm system is coming into the Plain States and Upper Midwest with some clouds and a little bit of wintry mix, some freezing rain at the time over the central counties of Iowa up into Minnesota and South Dakota, elsewhere fairly quiet. Watch warning map was not very quiet. Freeze warnings continue over Georgia and Florida with a cold spell down there, wind advisories across the south, winter weather advisories and storm warnings and storm watches across the Midwest up into the northern Rockies. QPF chart, precipitation over the next 5 days through Friday evening at 6 o'clock, showing some decent amounts of liquid equivalent precipitation around here, between about 1/10 of an inch over the far southwest and maybe 3/4 to almost 1 inch of liquid in the northeast.